Welcome to Gulfstream Park. It is January 8th, 2015. Christina Bosnakis joined by Ron Nicoletti. And Ron, we've got a big weekend coming up. But to start, and I think the prelude to this weekend is beautiful weather, a little bit cooler here today, but really perfect weather for racing.
It really is perfect weather for racing. We have about, I'd say it's going to be in the low 70s today. Just beautiful sunny skies, fast main track, firm turf course. And we got that $50,000 jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six pool. It will be over that. It was over $50,000 yesterday, but we have to give some back. We give 70% back to the winners of the most tickets that day. So it'll be over $50,000. Starts in race number 5 today, as we mentioned, fast main track, firm turf course. You mentioned a big weekend, three graded stakes on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that, and we do. But we have a pretty competitive card here on our Thursday card. And Ron, let's just get into it right away because we do have a lot of ground to cover. We will start with race 1, which is a 12-5 claiming event. It is 6 furlongs on the main track. It is for the ladies. We do have a scratch, number 7 for Trixie. And I went with number 1, and that's Artsy. I think you also used a number 1 Artsy on top. And Ron, let's just take a look at that last start where she seemed she had some problems, and she spotted the field. If we'll look at it right here, she was checked here slightly. She lost a couple of lengths.
Yeah, she lost a couple of lengths, and getting a claiming tag slicing there today. She just gets her shuffled back in there, and I think she's in a good spot today to score. She was checked pretty sharply in that race. She finished third, so it wasn't bad.
And only beaten the length.
And it was $25,000 two lifetime claimants. So I just think the drop down today, $12,500 an excuse last time out. Number 1 Artsy, the one to beat. I also used the 5, and so did you, Distinct Diva. Somewhere on the ticket. We basically in agreement with our top 3. This one now in the Peter Walder barn, making her first start since that second place finish at Thistle Downs last September. You say, why would you be betting this horse? Because it's Peter Walder. He does a fantastic job with new claims coming off a layoff. So on my ticket.
I totally agree, and we will jump into the second race on today's card, which kicks off the early pick 4, and it is a $35,000 claiming event, 6 furlongs on the main track. We do have one scratch, number 5. Ron, I went with number 6. So it looks like we're in agreement here. The 6, and that's the only thing I think pretty much. Number 6, Conspiracy again. And Ron, the reason I picked this gelding, Marcus Vitale, Orlando, he's got his man Orlando Boca Chica. The horse is, the gelding is stepping up. He was a winner last time, but I like that he has a stalking. He will probably be in a stalking position early, and it seems like the race has a few speed horses.
Yeah, he's going to be in a good place. But if you look back to his race on November 19th, he was actually beaten only half a length at this $35,000 level. They dropped him down. He beats the heck out of $20,000 type, stepping back up again. What I like about him, besides the stalking position, he's got back-to-back bullet workouts ready for this. Looks like the logical choice. Then we sort of differ a little bit. I went with the 3, who you do have in your ticket, Boozing Time, dropping back to this $35,000 level, turning back to 3/4 of a mile. This horse is the morning line favorite, and you can see why. He showed speed and faded in both the mile and a 16th in reality and the 7 furlong affirmed divisions of the Florida Sire Stakes. It's Wesley Ward. He removes the blinkers. This is the son of Bring the Heat, and this horse is in a spot where he can bounce back and run very well. And I'm not surprised if he would win the race.
And it's not a little bit disconcerting to you the fact that his last 2 races were in stakes, even restricted stakes, and then they're bringing him back in a $35,000 claiming race?
Yeah, I think I don't know if he belonged in those 2 stakes.
Okay,
you know what I mean? I think this is his proper level, the way I see it there. Good. And I used the 1 Papa Una just to close out the try.
Very good. On to the third race on today's card. It is a $30,000 claiming event, 7 furlongs on the main track. There is a scratch, number 2, Elusive Success. And my top selection, Ron, I went with number 8, and that's Narvaez. Now, Narvaez was a stakes caliber horse back in the day, and actually not that long ago. Back in February, he finished 2nd in the Gulfstream Park Sprint. He was beaten several lengths by Falling Sky, who's a very nice horse. He went on, and he won a couple of really nice races after that. So, Ron, this was a horse that was running against some pretty nice competition. the wheels have kind of fallen off in recent times. However, Javier Castellano, he gets aboard here today. I think he's in an appropriate spot. I think he's in a spot to win because this is really the easiest competition that he's seen pretty much ever.
Yeah, this is pretty square 10-1 on the morning line. They did not use him. I did go with the number 3 in here, Sky Commander, who you have in second. This one's turning back to 7 furlongs on the dirt. Stalked the pace and flattened out late to finish 5th, but it was against multiple winners in a $35,000 claimer going a mile in the 16th on the turf. Turning back to 7 furlongs today. I really like this move, so I put number 3, Sky Commander. Exploring in second, that's the 4, and I added Main Man Mike. I lost my second choice in there, which was number 2, Elusive Success.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race, and how deep do you think we have to go in here?
You're going to have to go a little deeper in here because I agree with what you said in Navarez, and so if you got to add that horse to your ticket, but with the scratching, it's only 7-horse field, so maybe you can go all if you find a single in this early pick 4.
Yeah, and hope for a horse at a price. On to the 4th race on today's card, and we do have a maiden special weight. It is a mile on the main track, and it is for 3-year-old, newly turned 3-year-old colts. And my top selection, I went with number 2, and that is Royal Sun. Ron, he's a son of Tiz now. The mare is by AP Indy, so it's a route pedigree, whichever way you look at it. You look at that last race. He's been second in both career starts. In his latest race, which was back in August 30th, he finished second and a well-beaten second behind a horse named El Kabir. El Kabir, for John Terranova, came back in New York last weekend and won the Jerome very impressively. He's really a nice horse, and he's probably one of the leading 3-year-olds in the country.
Right. He won a grade 2 also at the JC when he was a 2-year-old in Kentucky. So
he really nice horse. So what I'm trying to say is he was beaten 10 lengths by El Kabir, but maybe there's no shame in that.
No, exactly not. And it's coming back, and he's a nice spot. It's a maiden race, and we'll see how he does. I know you wanted to show a video in here.
Well, we're going to actually take a look at what my second top choice in that race, and that is number 5, Flashy Jewel, Ian Wilkes. And this is a quote by Flashy Bull, 3rd in his debut, and we'll see what Ian Wilkes had to say about Flashy Jewel.
Well, definitely, he ran a very good race last time. He stuck down inside and he finished off quite well, come through traffic, and I think the mile would really suit him. He's a big, strong colt, and so I really think the one-turn mile is not going to hurt him at all.
So that's encouraging because Ian seems
I got him in second, so I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, and I think I just think the added distance is going to help him, and he's one of those horses you want to use. But what about, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say we'd be remiss if we would have mentioned Luis Saez is riding a horse. He's been on fire. So along with that, the Flashy Jewel. Just want to add that.
Not literally, folks. Don't be worried. We'd be on top of that. But the one horse I used and you did not. I see you went in a slightly different direction with the horses underneath. Number 8, Tradesman, and this is a colt by Street Sense, and I look at his last race. I went back and I watched both of his last races. Now, he finished 3rd behind a horse named Frosted, a graded stakes horse. Both Frosted and Aldrin, very nice horses that beat him. That was back at Aqueduct in October. And at first I was going to put him a little bit ahead. I think he might be a horse that just needs a little more time to come around, and that's what his last races has shown. Although second-time Lasix, Tom Albertrani, and Tom Albertrani hasn't broken through yet with a victory here, but I think this is one of those horses you're going to want to use.
When I went back and looked at this race this morning, as you know, we do these a couple of days, I looked back and I said, boy, how did I miss this horse? So I'm in total agreement with you that I did go with the other Todd Pletcher in here, and I wanted to talk to you about that one. And it's a $250,000 son of Quality Road. As I mentioned, back-to-back bullet workouts at Palm Beach Down, preparation for its debut. He's getting Lasix, getting Javier Castellano. Lots of things to like about that number 7 Jambles.
Well, Quality Road is the leading stallion in terms of freshman, in terms of earnings for 2014, and as a freshman sire, that is the first season sire. Ron, his yearlings, his 2-year-old, sold very well, $250,000. That's a really good price for this stallion, and also they were winning at a pretty good clip slip first time out. So pedigree-wise, I would expect him to be precocious. So you know what? Todd Pletcher, why not? First time.
I mean, that's where I went. But then my next choice would have been the 8 horse that you were talking about, and I didn't know really what to do with him. I wanted to put him on the ticket, but when I went back, like I said today, I looked back and I said, no, maybe I should have bumped him up a little bit, that 8 horse. So use him is what we're trying to say.
We're going to take a short break, folks, and we'll come back and have a look at the 5th race on the card that kicks off the 20-cent Rainbow Six.
Gulfstream Park is one of Florida's top entertainment destinations, mixing restaurants, clubs, a casino, and international boutique shops with world-class racing. In a lavish, sun-drenched setting with the feel of a Mediterranean village, Gulfstream is a leading year-round entertainment and tourist destination and the home of luxury residences in 2014. The Stronach family, owners of Gulfstream Park, is committed to the sport of thoroughbred racing and the grace, spirit, and generosity of the horse.
The Rainbow Six is back, and it's better than ever. Now with a 20-cent base wager, it will expand the market for the popular wager. And in addition to doubling the base wager, the percentage return to the winners on the days the jackpot isn't hit is increased to 70%, with 30% going to the carryover pool for the next program. Gulfstream Park, first post, 1240 each and every day.
Welcome back to Gulfstream, and we're going to have a look at the 5th race on today's card that kicks off the 20-cent Rainbow Six. Ron, looking at this race, I found it was a pretty competitive race, and even though we did both go with the same horse, and that's number 5, Esthétique, and she was second last time, just got beat. She got to the front, and actually she showed speed the whole way, and she just got nailed at the wire. Winner 2 starts back at this level. So I think really she's, that was 2 lifetime, 2 starts back, but I think she's going to be the one to beat. Very nice filly. I'm thinking she might be the controlling speed in here.
She's the controlling speed, and what she did last time out was against the Starker closer bias at the particular time. Nobody was running good on the lead right then, so on the turf course you could not win. It's changed a bit since then, so Esthétique is, I thought that was a pretty nice performance. You're going to see it right now.
I thought it was a pretty nice performance, and again, she ran a winning race, and she just got beat. But as you said, very good point to bring up in terms of the bias that day. So again, I think she's going to be the tough one she's going to be the one to beat. But what about number 2, Marnicia Wildair? I had her. She was actually 3rd in this race as well. She's a closer. She finished just behind the top 2 in there, and I don't think she's without a shot. But pretty wide open race, because I do see that you did use Marnicia Wildair.
Yeah, I did, and I also used the 6 Wonderful Wild, who moved to the Bobby DeBona Bond via the claim after rallying to finish 3rd, beating only 1.5 lengths. That was against $20,000 3 lifetime claimants going a mile. New connections. Bobby DeBona does a great job. He's got Paco Lopez in the saddle. So there's lots of things to like about the number 6. But you could see we both have the 5 on top. Then we differ. And what we're saying, that's why this is the first leg of the Rainbow Six, which starts, of course, from race 5 through race 10. You got to have the 5, but you got to have a couple other horses. You made a good point about Marnicia Wildair.
And it's interesting that we both went the same horse, because I really do think it's a pretty wide open race. On to the 6th race on the card. It's a 62-50 claiming event, 6 furlongs on the main track. We do have a scratch, number 9, Smarty Boy, and this race kicks off the pick 5. So, if the first leg of the pick 6 doesn't work out for us, or the Rainbow Six, then we can start with the pick 5. I went with we're totally in agreement. So
we're telling you, if we can hit them both for $1 ticket.
I think this horse, though, Ron, quite frankly, number 3, Donegal Hall, is the logical horse.
Right. Yeah, definitely. He's stretching out to 6 furlongs again. 14 previous races out there. 2 wins, 4 seconds, and 30. He responded to the drop in competition last time out. 2nd place finish. Same caliber competition, going 5.5 furlongs. So I think the stretch out will not be bad for this horse. We both used Coro in 2nd, who's dropping a notch in the 5 pass key, stepping up to the next level after stalking early and drawing clear late. So these look like the logical 3 to me, but we've had races like this, written like this throughout the meet, where horses jump up and pay $60, $70, $80. So we have the same one on top, but you might want to go a little deeper.
And Coro, I thought that last race, if you look at how many days he had to, they came back they came back in almost, I think it was a week from that October 27th race where he won, and then November 3rd. It was a pretty quick turnaround, and he ran out of gas, I think, in the stretch. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think he's going to have company.
And just a note on that particular race, the 2 horses in that race came out to win their next starts. A Pro Gold, and congrats, Rob. So
Perfect,
it's not only that he was out there wing-dinging, it turns out to be a key race. So Coral, one of those horses, you know, we both have Donegal Hall on, but when we're saying this, I think you got to use at least these 3 on your ticket.
I think so too, with that excellent information. On to the 7th race on the card, which kicks off the late pick 4 this afternoon. It is a 20,000 claiming event, a mile and a 16th on the turf course. We do have a couple of scratches, number 1 and number 11, and I went with number 6. So here, you didn't even use the 6, which I think is really, really quite interesting. Now, I just think this is how I looked at this race. She is coming off of a very impressive victory. That was against, she was running against maidens last time, and so there's a jump here. We're facing winners for the first time here. I do think that she has speed, or she's going to be closer up. Ron, my theory in trying to beat this favorite here, number 4, Sisters in Arms, which you have on top, I have in second, she's going to get the jump on her.
Right.
This is what I'm hoping. Now you've got a filly, hasn't raced since November 5th. It is Christophe, so you'd expect that they'd be able to come back and run a competitive race. She's also dropping significantly. I want my horse to get a jump on her.
Get a jump, and you're also getting in light with the Apprentice. Not that it's that much of a difference when you're going, you are going a mile in the 16th, so you might get the jump in there. Like you mentioned, I went with the 4 Sister in Arms, and I'll tell you why. Dropping to this $20,000 level, first start since stalking the pace and fading, but that was against $35,000 2 lifetime claimers going a mile. That was a good turf course at Aqueduct, so it was a heavy turf course. It was back on November 5th. Trainer Christophe Clement, you mentioned, very good. 22% with this type of coming back after a 61 to 180 day layoff, and he's got Javier Castellano in the saddle. Hard not to have him on the ticket. I got the 2 Ali Cruz in second. Did you use it all? No, you did not use. I'll tell you why. Sitting on a winning performance, following that $20,000 maiden victory at Gulfstream Park, with I thought a well-meant 4th place finish, beating 1.5 lengths right here at this level and distance. Off that performance, I threw it back on the ticket.
And has been showing improvement. I used underneath and number 7. That's Little Zoe. I had a little bit of a question mark last time. She was 3rd. She is going to be stepping up here. Gustavo Delgado, he's very good with his first-time claims, and also just in the claiming rank. So Edgar Zayas getting aboard.
Yeah, he's
and
back.
This is a name we haven't heard in a while, but he was on fuego before he went away. So
he was the leading rider just about when we left before he went on a sort of vacation. We'll put it that way.
Yes, staycation. As I like to say. On to the 8th race on the card. And it is a 62.50 allowance optional claiming, 5 furlongs on the turf course. We do have several scratches, number 3, 5, 8, and 13. We will have Larry Colmas come on in just a few minutes, and he'll give all the scratches and changes for this afternoon. Ron, I went with number 4. Whom you didn't even use, and this is going to be a mistake. Indian Splendor from the Jason Service barn. And now, Indian Splendor is a very interesting mare because she always runs her race. In the last couple of races, she's actually finished behind some very nice types, including back at Monmouth, that race where she was second behind Juju Eyeballs. Juju Eyeballs, another horse from the Jason Service barn. Very, very nice mare. So, Jason, he's as good as anybody bringing them back off of a layoff, and very competitive. She ran last time at 6 furlongs. Ron, I think she's better at 5 furlongs, personally, and she's going to have speed. And she's a nice mare, and I don't think she's one to be overlooked.
Oh, I didn't use her on the ticket because I didn't want to use speed. I went with Stalkers and Closing Wire. I went to the number 1 Zam Quick. Not only did I made it my best bet today, this one's going to depart from the rail today after breaking from post 12, stalking 4 wide and finishing 3rd, beaten only 1.5 lengths. That was a 2nd level allowance of runners going 5.5 furlongs. It was a good turf at Keeneland. Better class of than you're going to face today, I thought. Near Eddie Keneally, Corey Lannery. I'm going with the horse that's going to sit off the speed of the horses in there. And I used Runaway Giant and Kiyama, but like you said, I might be sorry. She said it. You heard her.
Yeah, Jason, he's tough, guys, and these are the perfect type of horses that you're like, why didn't I have this horse? Well, I have it, so we'll see how that goes. On to the 9th race on the card. It is the 20,000 claiming event, a mile and a 16th on the turf course, and we do have a couple of scratches, number 9 and number 11. My top selection, number 1. Here's another horse you haven't used, and that is Make Your Point. And this 4-year-old filly, and look who's getting aboard. Luis Saez, you were talking about earlier, Phil Serpy. Phil Serpy with these types, very dangerous. And now she's best when she's in a stalking position. Last time, Ron, I would just throw that race out. She was in the 12 hole, didn't get off to the greatest of starts, never really got into it. That last race, no bueno. But you look at both of those races, in the last 2 races, she was coming out of exiting a wide post. So now being on the 1, that doesn't worry me. And I would like to see her closer up early, though, this time.
Well, I did not use her, and you made a good case, so maybe I'll go back and look at it. But I know there is a horse that you did use that I put on top, and that's the 2 Wine Burglar. Moved to the Mike Petro bond. Beat a claim after yielding late as the tepid favorite to finish 3rd. Beaten a little over length at this same level and distance. New connections today, and they got Paco Lopez in the saddle today. So I'm just thinking the number 2 Wine Burglar can run very well in there today. I used the 10 Juju Beans and the 5 Go Runtos Go, but I'll have to go back and look at that number 1. We don't usually differ that much today, so maybe we were thinking differently.
Yeah, we're trying to think out of the box. So on to the 10th and final race on the card. It is a 50,000 maiden claiming event. It is a 1.16 miles on the turf course, and super high 5 wagering in race 10. And Ron, the only changes is the permanent change of gelding, which is not marked in our
the ultimate equipment
the
change.
Ultimate equipment change. Thank you. Is number 2, Dreaming of Clarice. Maybe that's appropriate for a boy horse.
Isn't that from that movie?
Maybe it's appropriate for a boy horse. But so this is my top selection. I went with number 5, and that is Tri-Coastal. And last time going a mile, and that was at Aqueduct. No good. And what I find really interesting is that you look at his first race on the turf, which I thought was pretty good, was pretty decent. That last one, no bueno. They gelded him right after that. So to me, there's a little bit of an indication where they got to go.
Well, I want to show you Black Martino's last race, this 7-horse today. And what the reason I like this horse, I kept picking this horse and didn't know what to do, and the barn was high on him. He just never really responded. So they dropped into the $50,000 level on the turf, and I thought he ran a bang-up second. He was very game. He kept fighting back. You see him here going through the stretch, and I just think he's going to go by. And I think they finally found a nice level for him, the number 9, a $50,000 on claimers on the grass. So I used him on top with Mexican Groove and Majestic Z in the final race. You mentioned the pick 5, the super high 5. I also have my long shot of the day. It's the 3 Weekend Express. If you look at the horse who we faced last time out, we were talking earlier, the competition. This one was against Mr. Jordan, at Monmouth Park. Now going to the turf. Timmy Hill's the trainer. Lots of things I liked about this horse, especially the breeding for the grass.
And your horses, your long shots have been doing pretty well.
Yeah, we've been pretty lucky.
Yeah, well, there's always a little bit of luck and also being good. So we're going to have to pay attention to that one in the final race. So Ron, today, track fast, turf firm. We do have the Rainbow 6 that starts in race 5.
And we got the super high 5 in the last race. Also got the pick 5. And on the weekend, don't forget, every Saturday and Sunday during the month of January, we got a $50,000 guarantee in the pick 5 and a $100,000 guarantee in the late pick 4. Just adds to the excitement besides all the graded stakes races that we have.
I can't wait to get to the weekend. However, we do have a really competitive card today. Ron and I will be back the rest of the afternoon. Folks, stick around.